this man believed that the power for healing was in the water. And so he was inviting Jesus to the pity party by identifying the fact that he was so crippled, so paralyzed, that when the water was stirred up, he couldn't get in the water quick enough because somebody else who was less handicapped than him could beat him into the water. He really didn't answer the question. He implied that maybe he wanted to get well, but he was playing the pity party and the blame game. You see, he is suddenly seeming to ask Jesus, why don't you stay here with me long enough so that the next time it's trouble, you can help me get into the water. He was inviting Jesus to be his helpmate. And to put him in the water the next time the water was stirred. But before we condemn this thing, I just want to put a pin in it for a minute. Because, you know, we can come up with some amazing, evasive answers ourselves. Do you want to get well? Well, you know, you got to know what my background is. I was born poor and black. And in America, that is a liability. You got some overcoming to do when you've been born poor and black in America. But that's not the answer to the question. The question is, do you want to get well? Well, you see, I started out to get an education, but my money ran funny and my change got strange, and so I couldn't finish school and I had to drop out, and I got a job at Burger King, and then I bought me a raggedy car that I had to pay for, and I never could go back. Do you wanna get well? Well, you know, I really want to drop this habit. But every time I start thinking seriously about it, you know, I'm running with some folk that do some things that they ought not do, and when I'm with them, I just kind of get caught up, and you know how it is, running, and then, you know, and when you're running with your boys, and when you're out there with your guys and your cut buddies, you know, it's hard to do the right thing, and so but do you want to get well? I would join your church, but you know, y'all start at 11 o'clock, and you know, y'all go to 1:30, and you know, I really love football. And you know, I hate to have to tip out of church before church is over so that I can see my games on Sunday. And you know, and the other thing is, you know, y'all kind of loud there. Choir loud, the preacher loud, they even pray loud, and even read the scripture loud. But don't you go to the concert down at the convention center and ain't it loud there? And you try to get to the front row. You out dancing everybody. You right there at the speaker. It's loud there. But do you want to Church, do you want to get well? You got folks that have been in the church 50 years and can hardly find song. And will spend 30 minutes trying to find titles. Got folk in the church. And when controversy comes up, you can cite chapter and verse, page number, and section number of the church constitution, but you don't know the Bible. Do you want to get real? And when you start quoting Bible, somebody better be following what you're quoting, because half the time you taking stuff out of context if it's in the Bible at all. I haven't found it yet. I've been reading the Bible a long time, read it through several times, haven't found any translation that says if you take one step, God will take two. Pay $75 to sit in the rafters where you almost need to take an oxygen mask. And you get insulted when the pastor talks about tithes and offerings. Driving good, looking good, living good, eating good. And you walk around and tip God $20.05 and think God ought to be satisfied. Do you really want to get well? And I know I'm in trouble now. But you pay your doctor an astronomical fee for telling you you're all right. You pay your pharmacist, even with your health insurance, $25, $30 for 1 month's supply of little pills that you ain't even sure are working. And if you ever get a legal problem, you're going to pay through your nose until death knocks at your family's door. And you expect him to be there all day, all night if necessary. And please, don't leave the gravesite too soon. Because they'll charge you with negligence and misdemeanor absenteeism. Do you want to get well? And then we give the evasive answer that doesn't even answer a straightforward question. At this point in the story, any of me would have a problem knowing where we were going. What is the next turn in the drama? And that moves us to my third and final key. An empowering command. Jesus had asked a unique question. And he had gotten an evasive answer. And it almost seems that out of nowhere, Jesus shifts gears. And he says to the man, take up your mat and walk. 38 years of paralysis. 38 years when the cerebral cortex has not communicated adequately with the muscles in his legs. 38 years when the nerves have not responded to anything and there has been a deadening of the nerves. Atrophy has set in a long time ago because muscles that are not exercised begin to wither and dry up. It might have been a neurological problem at the beginning, but by now, after 38 years, it's also a muscular problem because there are no muscles that can support the man's weight. And yet Jesus said, take up your mat and walk. I don't care how long you've been sick. Don't care what the problem is. I don't even care about your answer. Take up your mat and walk. And the scripture says that immediately the man stood up, rolled up his mat, put it on his shoulder, and started walking. 38 years. And with one spoken word, the man got well. How long have you been crippled? What pool have you been sitting around? What liability have you been carrying for 38 years that has kept you from being everything God wants you to be? Your daddy left home when you were a child. You've never recovered from that. Every man you've been in a relationship with, you remind Sunday and you look like you all right. But what most folks don't know is that you're a weekend alcoholic. You and Budweiser are on a first name basis. You and Jealous Regal are on a first name basis. You and Jack Black and Coke live all weekend together. Y'all sleep together. Y'all wake up together. And you look like you all right. But your life is anything but whole. You've been sitting around the pool for 38 years and your life is a shamble. What pool have you been sitting around? You have always been a saint. Yet you're against dancing now. That's in part because Arthur and bursitis don't let you do much dancing now. You're unforgiving. You got a hard edge. You can tell folk how unrighteous they are because since you've been saved, you're so holy and you're so righteous that you can stand in judgment of everybody else. But the truth of the matter is your hard edge and your strong theological position is really an example of your unwillingness to forgive other folk because you never accepted God's forgiveness for you. The dirt you did haunts you every day. You're sitting at the pool and you have never accepted the idea that God can wipe the slate clean. And so you still believe you got to work real hard to earn righteousness and you just demand everybody to be perfect because you can't stand imperfection even in your life. What pool are you sitting around tonight? You can't forgive a young girl for getting pregnant out of wedlock. You want the church to put her out. Nobody knows your secret. Nobody knows that when you were a teenager, you were molested by a loved one and you had an abortion and the taste of life got bitter and you take out all your frustrations on anybody that fails in your eyesight. What pool are you sitting around? Well, my brothers and sisters, I've got good news for you tonight. Doesn't matter what pool you've been sitting around. Doesn't matter how long you've been sitting there. I know a man named Jesus who's an expert about showing up at pools like Bethesda. I know a God who's great about sitting down and talking with you. He knows your problem better than you do. And somehow along the way, he'll ask the question, do you want to get well? And no matter what your evasive answer is, if you sit there long enough, you're liable to hear the word, get up, wrap up your bed, and start walking. Walk away from your destructive path. Walk away from your narrow-mindedness. 65th annual session. The Nevada, California, Interstate Missionary Baptist Convention. I stopped by tonight to tell you that it's time for you to take up your bed and walk. 65 years is a long time. You've done some great things in your history. You've made some marvelous progress in 65 years, but there's still too many folks sitting around the pool. There's